The glow of a smartphone screen illuminates a quiet room at 6 in the morning. A professional stares at a banking app exactly 90 days after landing the promotion of a lifetime. The title bump came with a $20,000 raise, a figure that was supposed to change everything. For years, the narrative was simple. Earn a higher salary, and the crushing financial pressure will finally release. But the number on the screen tells a chillingly different story. The checking account balance is nearly identical to what it was 3 months ago. The initial rush of victory and the profound sense of relief have entirely evaporated. In their place is a creeping cold confusion. The extra money is simply gone, swallowed by an invisible current, leaving no trace of the promised wealth. A sinking anxiety takes hold. The internal dialogue spirals into a desperate audit of recent choices. There was no catastrophic emergency, no sudden medical bill, and no reckless gambling debt. The mind races to account for the missing thousands, searching for a single disastrous mistake to blame. But the math refuses to cooperate, offering only the terrifying realization that earning more money did nothing to build actual wealth. This vanishing act is not a simple budgeting error. It explains a deeper psychological trap that catches almost every rising professional in the modern economy. You are not failing at math. You are functioning exactly as the system expects, caught in a behavioral loop where financial stagnation sets in, ensuring your bank account never grows no matter how high your salary climbs. The financial world calls this phenomenon lifestyle creep. It is the relentless process where personal expenditure rises in lockstep with income. It does not happen through massive, reckless purchases, but through 1,000 tiny, justifiable upgrades. A celebratory premium dinner at a high-end restaurant feels entirely earned, but within months, that rare luxury subtly transforms into the standard, expected Friday night routine. The mechanics of this shift are almost imperceptible. Upgrading from a commuter car to a luxury vehicle starts as a reward for years of hard work. The leather seats feel like a daily trophy, yet within a year the thrill completely vanishes. The luxury vehicle is no longer a dream. It is just the car you drive to work, a new rigid baseline requiring a significantly higher monthly payment. The immediate fallout of this behavioral shift is devastating. The concept of long-term wealth building is actively dismantled from the inside out. You operate under the illusion that you are getting richer because your cash flow is larger, but your actual net worth remains frozen. The surplus capital that should be compounding in investment accounts is instead burned as fuel to sustain an inflated daily existence. Every new dollar of income is subconsciously pre-assigned to this newly upgraded standard of living before it ever hits the bank. Your disposable income is swallowed whole. You tell yourself the next raise will be the one you save, but the trap is already set. By the time the next promotion arrives, your baseline is expanded to consume it, leaving nothing for actual lasting accumulation. It is incredibly easy to view this cycle as a personal failing, a lack of discipline that demands immense self-guilt. But stepping back reveals a much darker, engineered reality. You are not fighting a lack of willpower. You are fighting a massive economic environment meticulously designed to extract every new dollar you generate. Modern financial institutions, credit card issuers, and consumer marketers do not just hope you experience lifestyle creep. Their entire revenue models rely on it. They study human behavior to ensure your expanding income translates immediately into expanding consumption. The system is structurally built to intercept your wealth, weaponizing your own psychology against your financial independence. At the core of this systemic extraction is a biological mechanism known as hedonic adaptation. Humans are evolutionarily wired to rapidly return to a relatively stable baseline level of happiness, regardless of major positive or negative events. When you introduce a massive improvement to your life, your brain produces a temporary spike in satisfaction. But that spike is biologically designed to fade. Your neural pathways quickly adapt to the new stimulus, resetting your expectations to match your new environment. The new normal becomes entirely invisible. You are left running on a hedonic treadmill, constantly required to secure bigger, more expensive stimuli just to feel the exact same baseline level of satisfaction you had when earning half as much. Watch how this adaptation plays out step by step in daily life. Imagine signing the lease on a significantly upgraded apartment in a premium neighborhood. For the first 3 weeks, the space feels incredibly expansive. You notice the premium appliances and the sweeping views every single time you walk through the door. The extra $1,000 a month in rent feels completely justified by the daily surge of joy. But by month 2, the magic dissolves. You stop noticing the appliances. The view becomes background noise. The premium apartment no longer feels like a luxurious escape. It just feels like home. Your psychological baseline is successfully upgraded, completely neutralizing the joy of the space. Yet the financial consequence is permanent. The elevated monthly rent payment remains locked in, silently draining your wealth long after the happiness has expired. Place that psychological treadmill against the cold, hard reality of the modern economy. While human expectations constantly demand more, the actual value of a paycheck has been frozen in time. When adjusted for inflation, real wages for the average worker have barely moved in over 4 decades. The purchasing power of a standard salary is effectively stagnant. This means any true, lasting increase in your ability to buy time and freedom is mathematically rare. You might see a higher number on your pay stub, but the invisible tax of inflation has already consumed the difference. Your brain demands a lifestyle upgrade to celebrate the promotion, but the economy has not actually given you any extra resources to fund it. This explains the brutal, invisible squeeze on your disposable income. The natural baseline cost of living, including food, basic housing, and transportation, is always creeping upward on its own. When you add the artificially inflated costs of an upgraded lifestyle, the math simply stops working. The gap between what you earn and what you must spend rapidly vanishes. That vanishing gap is the exact margin that was supposed to secure your future. It was the money meant for investments, emergency funds, and long-term wealth building. Instead, that critical capital is ruthlessly consumed by the new car payment and the premium apartment. You are making more money than ever before, but your actual wealth accumulation drops to zero. Eventually, you hit a breaking point. Your stagnant real income can no longer support the newly adapted baseline your brain now requires just to feel normal. But stepping backward feels like failure, and human psychology will do almost anything to avoid the pain of a perceived loss. So you look for a bridge to cover the shortfall. You quietly turn to borrowing just to maintain the illusion of your current status. It starts small, covering a dinner or a weekend trip with money you do not actually have. You are no longer spending your current income. You are actively spending your future time, borrowing against tomorrow just to fund the elevated expectations of today. The modern consumer credit industry enters the equation right at this breaking point. The entire system is explicitly engineered to capitalize on your hedonic adaptation. Financial institutions know that your desire for the next upgrade will eventually outpace your actual cash flow. They built a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure to catch you the moment your income falls short. Consumer credit is designed to offer instant gratification while entirely bypassing the psychological pain of parting with physical money. When you hand over cash, your brain registers a loss. When you swipe a piece of plastic, that pain center stays quiet. The system removes the natural friction that used to keep human spending in check. Credit cards are not just payment methods, they are highly advanced behavioral tools. They use gamification to keep you spending. The promise of points, cash back, and exclusive travel rewards creates a powerful illusion that spending money is actually a strategic financial move. You are convinced you are earning rewards, when in reality, you are just financing your own lifestyle creep. Algorithms push buy now, pay later options at the exact moment of purchase, slicing a massive expense into 4 deceptively small payments. These tools successfully mask the true cost of your lifestyle upgrades. They encourage continuous, unthinking consumption by making the immediate financial consequence appear completely harmless. The trap snaps shut before you even realize you are in debt. This behavioral engineering is amplified by a digital spending environment built entirely around friction removal. You are surrounded by seamless one-click checkouts and auto-filled digital wallets. Hyper-targeted social media advertisements track your desires, placing the exact item you want directly in your feed at the exact moment your willpower is lowest. The physical world used to require you to drive to a store, select an item, and physically pay for it. The modern digital environment systematically removes every single physical and mental barrier to spending. You can now upgrade your wardrobe, book a luxury vacation, or buy a new television while lying in bed at 2 in the morning. The most insidious danger to your wealth is the modern subscription model. It is the ultimate weapon of automated lifestyle creep. Instead of asking you to make a large, conscious purchase, companies ask for a tiny fraction of your monthly income. $10 here for premium entertainment, $20 there for specialized software, $40 for a curated delivery box. These small automated charges bypass your conscious decision-making entirely. You agree to them once and they silently inflate your baseline cost of living forever. Because the individual amounts seem so insignificant, you never feel the need to cancel them. But combined, these invisible leaks drain thousands of dollars a year from your wealth-building potential, all while running entirely on autopilot. But automated software is only the mechanics of the trap. The true engine is the heavy emotional weight of modern social pressure. Every time you open a screen, you are bombarded with the highlight reels of your peers. The quiet anxiety of trying to keep up with this highly visible consumption slowly rewires your definition of success. This pressure manifests in the relentless pursuit of aesthetic perfection. Curated vacations, designer clothes, and flawlessly decorated homes are broadcasted daily, creating a false, exhausting standard of a normal life. When everyone in your circle appears to be living in a state of perpetual upgrade, choosing to maintain your current lifestyle feels like falling behind. While small subscriptions drain your accounts quietly, the most devastating blows to your net worth happen through big-ticket lifestyle creep. This occurs the exact moment a salary increase hits your bank account and triggers the desire for a better car or a larger house. The real estate and automotive industries are perfectly calibrated to exploit this confidence. Upgrading your vehicle might only add $300 to your monthly auto loan, and a slightly larger home might increase your mortgage by another $500. On paper, your new salary easily covers these bumps. But that seemingly slight increase in monthly obligations permanently locks up thousands of dollars of your future wealth. Many ambitious professionals believe they can simply out-earn this trap by grinding for the next promotion or switching firms. This is a mathematical impossibility. When you tie your spending habits directly to your income level, the math will always work against you. You cannot solve a behavioral problem with a purely financial tool. The fatal flaw lies in the difference between linear and percentage-based growth. Your salary increases in linear increments, perhaps 5% a year. But lifestyle upgrades are exponential. Moving to a luxury apartment increases your rent, utility bills, and insurance premiums simultaneously. These percentage-based lifestyle upgrades will mathematically always consume and outpace linear salary increases. This brings us to the ultimate unsettling systemic design feature of the modern consumer economy. The financial machine does not view lifestyle creep as a tragic accident of human psychology. It relies on it as a fundamental pillar of economic stability. The system inherently requires workers to remain trapped in this cycle of earning and immediately spending. Imagine a scenario where every middle-class worker suddenly saved their raises and quietly invested them instead of buying new cars. The consumer-driven market would immediately stall. Retail sectors would collapse, auto manufacturers would face an inventory crisis, and the credit industry would lose billions. The system fundamentally demands your continuous consumption to survive. The true tragedy of lifestyle creep is the massive, invisible opportunity cost to your long-term wealth building. Every dollar allocated to an upgraded lifestyle is a dollar permanently removed from your personal capital base. You are not just losing the money you spent today, you are entirely erasing what that money could have become over the next 2 decades. Consider the stark math of a diverted $500 monthly car payment upgrade. If you had quietly invested that exact amount into a simple index fund every month, the results would be staggering. Over a 20-year period, assuming an average historical market return, that single lifestyle compromise would have grown into a portfolio worth over $380,000. This trap successfully turns the most powerful force in finance against the consumer. Compound interest is the engine of all great fortunes, designed to multiply capital exponentially over time. But when you succumb to lifestyle creep, you invert that engine. Instead of earning compounding returns on your investments, you are stuck paying compounding interest on consumer credit. The mechanics of this reversal are brutal. As your expenses rise to meet your new income, your cash flow tightens, leaving no room for emergencies. When an unexpected expense arrives, you are forced to rely on credit cards to bridge the gap. You are now paying 20% interest just to maintain your baseline. The miracle of compounding is now actively draining your net worth. The result is a growing demographic of professionals who live in a hollow, stressful reality. They are the high-earning, not rich, yet class. From the outside, their lives look like the absolute pinnacle of success. But behind closed doors, their financial lives are a house of cards, built entirely on the fragile assumption that their high income will never be interrupted. The psychological burden of earning a top-tier income but still living paycheck to paycheck is immense. These individuals are trapped by golden handcuffs of their own making, terrified of losing a job they likely despise because they require every dollar just to service their lifestyle debt. They possess a massive income, but they own absolutely none of their own time. The escape from this trap begins in a single quiet moment of friction. It requires a deliberate choice to step off the hedonic treadmill and observe the financial system from the outside. You must stop viewing a salary increase as permission to expand your comforts and start seeing it as a rare tool for buying back your future freedom. This shift from autopilot to acute awareness changes the underlying math of your existence. A vehicle upgrade is no longer just a $500 monthly payment. It is suddenly recognized as a decade of mandatory labor added to your timeline. By freezing their spending baseline, a few individuals break the circuit, transforming their disposable income into permanent capital. This behavioral shift threatens the very foundation of the modern economy. In 2023, consumer spending accounted for nearly 70% of the United States gross domestic product. If a critical mass of the population rejected lifestyle creep and aggressively hoarded their capital, the mechanisms of continuous economic growth would violently stall. This systemic vulnerability explains why the financial sector works tirelessly to keep the treadmill spinning. Banks engineer complex consumer credit products specifically to bridge the gap caused by salary stagnation, ensuring that even when wages flatline, the spending never stops. The entire framework of modern retail relies on you believing that upgrading your life is a required reward for hard work. The human aftermath of this cycle is visible in the retirement crisis unfolding across multiple generations. Millions of workers reach their late 60s with a garage full of depreciating assets and a terrifying deficit in actual liquid wealth. Families who earned millions over a lifetime are suddenly forced to downsize, trading their illusion of success for a harsh reality. The process of unraveling decades of accumulated lifestyle debt becomes a brutal psychological reckoning. Individuals must slowly dismantle their identity piece by piece, selling off the luxury vehicles and oversized homes that once signaled their status. They are left confronting the empty space where their financial security should have been, realizing too late that they financed a temporary performance. This larger context changes our basic assumption about what it means to be wealthy. A 2024 Federal Reserve survey revealed that nearly half of households earning over $100,000 annually still reported feeling significant financial distress. This aftershock shatters the old belief that a high income guarantees security, proving that hedonic adaptation can outpace almost any paycheck. The economic data confirms that the lifestyle creep phenomenon is not an accidental byproduct of success, but a highly effective wealth extraction system. When you combine stagnant purchasing power with the frictionless ease of digital spending, the middle class is systematically drained of its capital. The trap is perfectly designed to capture every surplus dollar before it can ever compound. One haunting question remains entirely unresolved by the historical record. If the global financial system requires our continuous, escalating consumption just to survive, what happens to a society that finally wakes up and simply stops buying things it does not need? We do not yet know if the market can even function when the average person prioritizes their own freedom. The answer might be hidden in the quiet glow of a banking app on a random Tuesday night. A screen displays a rising cash balance, untouched by the temptations of a new credit line or a sudden promotion. It is the silent, invisible rebellion of a single dollar left unspent, waiting in the dark to buy back tomorrow.